seemed like a normal day, and I was just like, "Are we really all okay?" And I remember just being in my bed, and one thing I used to always tell myself during that time, ugh, each day is new, that the Lord said that joy comes in the morning. I promise y'all, I don't even know, there was no one else in the room with me, and in that darkness, I felt a hand just cover my face, like on my cheek, covering my eyes, and I don't remember anything after that. I went to sleep. Hey, y'all, welcome in. My name is Sierra. Welcome to the Yes Lord podcast, where we make a conscious decision to say yes to the Lord every single day. Thank you for joining me again. I am going to do something a little different this week, and I hope that it doesn't disrupt the flow at all, or even just a little bit. But I want to try just free flowing and talking to you all and checking in. I know that this time has been crazy. I know that I mentioned last week that I was going through it, and and it was a lot going on. Just within the last month, there were just so many transitions that happened. There was stuff going on at work on my one team. Then we got transferred to another team and distributed and dispersed. So we're not all on the same team anymore. Me and my coworkers, we're learning a new product. There's demands from this new team to quickly learn and start on projects. And then I'm in grad school as well. I'm getting my master's in human factors and information design, which I've been doing for the past year. December will be my last semester. So I'm thankful, but I'm also like in the throes. I'm just tired. And I'm doing this podcast, which is so special to me and feels like the one thing I'm doing for myself or for the Lord. And so, with all that, I think it accumulated last week, and I just felt so stressed. And I felt like I wasn't able to give anything 100%. Felt like I was giving everything 5 or 10%. And I was like, this doesn't feel like it's pleasing to the Lord. Like, how can I, as Sierra, better manage my time and like organize myself? And I really felt this weight. I felt so much weight, and I was like, I can't be the only person feeling that. And then when I talked to other people, it's like they felt that weight too. It wasn't just a physical weight, it was like a spiritual weight. Like something was just coming. I felt like attack after attack of attack from the enemy. And I had a moment. I had many moments of tears and just like crying out to the Lord and being like, God, what is going on? I'm trying to be faithful. I'm trying to live the life that you've called me to live. I'm trying to do these things and I can't, I feel like, and I said to him, I said, God, I feel like I'm pouring into everything and I'm trying to give. And no, you don't give to expect anything back. But I was like, God, I don't even feel like you're pouring into me right now. And that felt difficult because it's like, again, when you feel like the problem is God, like, what do? You know that the problem logically is never God, it's always you. But how do you reconcile that? How do you go back to who you felt like it was hard to go to in the first place? So those were the questions that I was answering this past couple weeks. And that's why I took that break because I just felt a little burnt out just from everything going on. I felt tired. I felt weary. I felt unseen. I felt like the Lord was very silent. And I know He's never silent. It's just that I couldn't hear Him. My brain was just going at 50 miles a minute, 100 miles, 1,000 miles. And I was like, God, I need it to stop. I need it to calm down so that I can hear you, so that there can be some peace. And suddenly, this past week, it broke. There will be times in the future where, I have probably the same thing going on. I think that's just the cycle of life. But last week that feeling finally broke, and I'm so grateful to God for that because even when I didn't feel like praying, even when I couldn't do it, I think sometimes we think, "Oh, we need to spend hours and hours and hours in prayer in order for the Lord to move." But I didn't honestly spend hours and hours in prayer like I like to, like I would like to and want to, but I just don't have the time to nowadays. And the Lord still met me. He still met me where I was in that broken place. I remember I had cried out and I had screamed, and I think it was the first time in a long time that I had been honest with the Lord about what I was feeling, what I was thinking. I was like, God, I'm not dreaming anything. I'm not hearing anything. I'm not blah, blah, blah. In 4 successive nights, he gave me dreams. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, is that all I needed to do was just scream and cry and yell and just be vulnerable? And that's the thing is that God, He already knows what our issues are. He already knows what our problems are. He just wants us to come to Him and say what they are. Like, ask and you shall receive. If we're not asking, we don't have faith that we'll receive, right? And I'm trying to practice that more and saying, God, I know you may not answer me today, like in this moment, but I know that if I keep asking, I will have. If I keep knocking, the door will be opened, you know? And I I'm starting to walk that out, if that makes any sense. It's like you know these verses, you understand these verses. Sometimes you read a verse, you're like, oh, I didn't really get much from that. Like, it's not that it wasn't relevant. It's not that it's not God and that it's not His holy word and it's not good. It's just that in that moment, it's like, okay, I'll have to pocket that because it doesn't feel relevant to what I'm going through right now. But that's one of my favorite verses in the whole Bible. Asking, it should be given to you. Seeking, you shall find. Knocking, the door shall be open to you. But it felt really relevant this week, is what I'm saying. So I wanted to check in with you all and just see how y'all are doing. You know, gas is like $4 a gallon. We're in a war, another war. We're funding other wars, having tariffs on things, and people are still unemployed and they're still, I mean, I think that's the American spirit though. You walk outside, and I was at a coffee shop the other week and it was just like nothing was going on. We had babies outside playing, and he had parents just spending money, 12 $15 on coffee like me, and just like, oh, it's such a great day. What a beautiful day outside. And everyone was just laughing and giggling. And I was like, are we like, maybe this is a front. If it's not, then that's great. Maybe we just don't see it because it's not happening right here in our homes, like right here in our space. We don't see the war. We don't have bombs falling on us as of right now, thank the Lord. But, it just seemed like a normal day. And I was just like, are we really all okay? Um, but what I think the answer is that whether we believe in God or not, we're all just trying to be okay. There's no litmus for how okay you are, how not okay you are. There's just like oh, today feels a little better than other days, or today feels a little worse than other days. And you just kind of have to adjust to that. I also wanted to encourage you that if you're not okay, that it's okay to not be okay. I know in Christian spaces, there's always the talk of if you just believe in God, if you just read your Bible, if you just pray, then you'll have peace, then you'll have joy. And yeah, you may have peace and joy, and those things are great. But having peace and having joy doesn't always mean that things are going well, right? I think we sometimes think that if you have peace, that nothing is falling apart around you. You just could have the peace of the Lord inside of you that's just like things are falling apart, but I know that even though the world looks crazy, even though my life looks crazy, the God of the heavens and the earth, the God of the universe, that Yahweh, Elohim, Adonai, He is above all of this. He is in control. He is the one that builds and topples governments. He is the one that kings people and dethrones them, right? So if God has all of this power to control and still find his will even within our own individual free will, then we can trust that this infinite, all powerful, all knowing being, that we can't mess up his plan. We're too small for that. It's not our responsibility. When he says put it into his hands, give it over to the Lord, that's really what he means, is that we we don't have that power. We do have to take up his burden because his yoke is easy and his burden is light, right? We don't have the power to mess up what God is doing. So let's hold fast in that. And it's okay to not be okay. And if all that you can do is sit and cry, not many Christian people are going to tell you this, but if all you can do is sit on the floor and cry, the Lord sees that. The Lord sees that. He heard Hannah even when she was praying. I'm sure she was saying words, but the Bible doesn't record that she was saying words. It just sounded like muttering. She was probably like just crying and just pouring out her heart, and no discernible words were found. But if all you can do is cry and mumble or just say the same thing over and over again, and just ask the Lord to be with you and comfort you, that's literally okay. That's fine. If all you can say to the Lord is, "God, I'm lost. God, I need you. God, I'm stressed. God, I'm tired. God, where are you? God, I don't feel seen. I don't feel loved today. God, did you see what that person did to me?" If those are all the things that you can say to God and cry out to him, that's okay. That's okay. Um, for those who are a bit more, I guess, spiritually mature, sometimes there is that contending. I had to really contend with the Lord this week. And I really feel it so strongly that the Lord wants us to contend with him. He wants us to wrestle with him so that we can get what our promise is. Like, he doesn't want us to just be content and hoping and wishing and praying. He wants us to snatch it. God, like, you said this, I am your child. I am your son. I am your daughter. God, you said this about my life. I am looking for you to make a way for that to happen. Give me instructions, give me direction, give me clarity. What is it that could be doing, or what is it that I should be doing to assist you? Or you can't even really assist God like that, but what can I be doing to have this happen in my life? How can I contend with you, Father? I need to be in prayer. I need my face to the ground. I need to be just focused in and screaming out to you and calling out to you and asking. And, oh, you didn't answer yesterday? Oh, today is a perfect day for me to come to you again, Father. Sometimes I feel like God likes it when we bug him, because it's not bugging him. It's just he wants to know that we are so dependent on him. And I want us to be more dependent on him because things are hard, and I don't know if things will get easier, right? At least not right now. It feels like everything is just kind of in flux, and it's up to us as humans to adjust, but it's also up to us as humans to know that we do not have the power to control the world. We cannot hold up the burden of the world. Only God can. So, whatever we're going through right now, I would encourage us, no matter what it looks like, just pray, just read, even if it's one verse, even if all you can do that day is be like, God, I know that you said that you had great plans for me. I don't see these plans, but I know that's what you said. And if you said it, then it's not a lie. And just say that over yourself all day. When you're having a bad moment, God, you have good plans for me. When that person cusses me out, God, you have good plans for me. This ain't it, but you have other good plans for me. Okay. When there are moments where you get in traffic like I do and you start to get road rage and you're like, God, you have good plans for me. This is not included in them, but you have good plans for me. It sounds funny, but it's like it's true. Just say his word over us and it will come to pass. We do need to learn to speak life into ourselves. That's what I'm learning to do right now. That's what I had to do this week. And I was like, God, what I see is not what you've told me, and what I see is not what I feel it should be. So what can I say to make myself feel better? And you know what? It worked. And this just reminded me of when I said that God is close to the brokenhearted, because he is. God is so close to the brokenhearted. And I remember this was years ago when I was like in the deep, deep throes of depression and like felt like no one could help me. And I didn't have insurance, so I couldn't go see a therapist, and I didn't have the money to go pay for out of pocket therapy. And I remember just being in my bed. And one thing I used to always tell myself during that time, ugh, one thing I used to always tell myself during that time is that each day is new, that the Lord said that joy comes in the morning. So each and every morning, if I fell asleep, even if I was sad, even if I was depressed, even if things didn't go my way that day and I could barely get myself out of bed, I always said that a new day would come. The next day was just another opportunity to have a good moment, to feel better, to feel like something good was going to happen. And it's funny because it's like out of the mouths of babes, because even at that point in my faith walk, I wasn't even that strong in my faith. But I knew that I was like, the Lord is not a liar. And he said that if joy comes in the morning, that each day is afresh, then he means that, and that is something I can hold on to. So that's what I held on to. And I remember one night, I was just crying so, so much. I didn't have a reason. I just felt so, so down, and I couldn't find a way. It felt like I was constantly during that time, and even sometimes now, digging myself out of a hole. And I just remember saying, "Lord, I'm tired and I'm sad, and I don't know what tomorrow will bring," but I was like, "God, I just don't wanna be here." Not that I ever wanted to, like, hurt myself, but I was like, if there's a place between existing and not existing or heaven and or whatever, I was like, I just wanna be wherever that is. I was like, I don't wanna be right here, right now in this bed depressed. And I just was like, I just wanna sleep. I had been up for hours just crying. I said, "God, I just wanna sleep. I have a long day tomorrow. I just wanna sleep, and I just wanna feel refreshed when I wake up because I am only at this point getting like 4 hours of sleep, and I need my sleep. I need my, like, 8 hour 7 can do, but 8 is better. I need that." Um, and I promise y'all, I don't even know there was no one else in the room with me, and in that darkness, I felt a hand just cover my face, like, on my cheek, covering my eyes, and I don't remember anything after that. I went to sleep, and when I woke up, I was so refreshed, and I was like, "Oh my god," and I'm refreshed, like, I'm ready to take on this day, and I stayed up the whole time for all that I had to do. But what stood out to me the most is that when God meets you, he meets you where you are, and he meets you in such an intimate way. He meets you in a way that only he can meet you. And what I mean by that is the way that God comforted me in that moment, it may seem so simple, but it I knew exactly what the Lord was saying in that moment. And it was my first physical touch from the Lord. And years ago, like between 2016 and 2018, I worked at a school, like it was basically a daycare, but a Montessori school. And I worked with babies, and they were between 9 months and 24 months. And I love those kids. The Montessori way to put a child to sleep is not to rock them or to like rock their cot, but it's to put your hand over their eyes and put a little pressure on their face to cover them so that they're not distracted and so that they feel that comfort. And the fact that God had done that for me. So when I tell you that the Lord can comfort you and meet you in a way that is so distinct and so reminiscent of you, because I did that for those children because I loved them and I wanted them to get good sleep and I wanted them to enjoy nap time because, to be honest, as an adult, you don't get nap time. I wish for nap time. I'm like, enjoy this time as you have it right now. And the Lord met me in that place and he did the very same thing to me that I had done for those children. So when I tell y'all that the Lord is real, when I tell y'all that he meets you where you are and he knows what you need in that moment and that he can comfort you, I'm saying this because he did it for me and he's done it for me so many times, even outside of that incident. But I just want us all to be encouraged because there's a lot of pressure right now. There does seem to be a lot of things that are going on that feel out of our control and that are out of our control. But let's hold fast to God. Let's hold fast to Jesus, knowing that He is someone who deeply cares for you, that He sees your situation, that you may have felt stuck or in the same place, or like you're not moving, or like life is hard and that things are just attacking you. But just know that God does see you. He does see you. I'm saying this because I feel like I'm in that place right now. There's so many things that I want out of life. There's so many things that I hope for my future, and I don't see any of them right now. If we're being honest, I don't see any of them right now. But I just have to believe that the God that showed up for me before will show up for me again, time and time again, because that is who He is. And that these moments where He feels silent or that He's not moving, that He really is. There's things that He's doing in the background that we can't see. And sometimes we're delayed not because we've done something wrong or we're not being Christian enough, but because God is like, I need to build you up. I need you to stop looking or searching for outside validation. I don't need you to every second be asking me, what should I do? I gave you a sound mind. I gave you knowledge. I gave you wisdom. I gave you free will. Now I'm asking you to use discernment too. Now I'm asking you to use those things to make the best decision, because ultimately, whatever decision you make won't mess up my plan for you. So just believe that, just remember that, and just be encouraged. I love you. I'm praying for you as well. I know that God sees you and that He loves you, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Bye.